Well, hello again from Fat Doctor TV. This is Dr. Greg Oliver, and I want to say hi again and welcome back to our show. Hope you're getting some benefit from our episodes here. As we continue our episodes on Fat Doctor TV, we're going to be getting deeper and deeper into the issues that keep us overweight, keep us over fat, and how we can all get leaner and thinner and live healthier lives. Today, we're going to talk about how did we get fat? A lot of times we look in the mirror and suddenly go, gosh, I'm fat. How did I get here? Or my clothes are too tight. I can't get that button buttoned, or I can't get my belt, in that notch I used to get it. And that was one of the things that used to frustrate me is I had this really neat belt and I couldn't get it in the notch that I needed to. And I was on my last notch and I thought, if I keep getting bigger, I'm going to have to go buy new clothes, buy new belts, all those things. Suddenly it's like, I need to change my life. I need to do something completely different. So whatever it is that bugs you and gets you kind of irritated so you can focus on your portrait of health, that's fine. All those things are great. But how did we get here? Is it that we eat too much? Is it what we eat? Is it our activity level or lack of activity level? Is it our genetics? Is it the biochemistry, the makeup of our body? Is it our metabolism? I know a lot of people say, doc, my metabolism's slow. Well, we can measure that. A lot of physicians, a lot of weight loss docs, a lot of clinics can measure your metabolism and tell you exactly how many calories you're burning and using a day. Is it the environment? Is it the environment we live in? Or is it just plain our behavior? Now, I know a lot of times I tell patients that, unfortunately, your insurance isn't going to pay the doctor to take care of your obesity or your weight problems. Hey, they'll pay them to take care of the side effects of those, like diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, joint destruction, and arthritis. They'll pay them for those end product treatments, but they won't pay the prevention to take care of obesity and weight management. So that's why a lot of times you go to your doctor and they'll say things like, hey, you need to lose weight, you need to eat less, exercise more, here's a diet sheet. Good luck with that, because the doctor's not getting paid for that. But that's unfortunate in our society. The other thing you hear from our government officials is that, it's just the behavior of people. So we need to change what's in the vending machines. We need to ban the Happy Meals. We need to make people be more responsible because they won't be responsible on their own. Well, that's a bunch of hogwash. People want to be responsible. People want to take responsibility for their own health. But there's lots of factors in all this. The fact is, this is an extremely complex problem, being fat. And how you got there is very complex. So stop blaming yourself. It's not all you. It's not just pushing away from the table and eating less. I know you say things like, well, I should eat better. I should exercise. I should be able to lose weight. I should. You got to be careful. You're shoulding all over yourself here. Stop it. The key thing is that behavior is certainly bad. We all do the wrong things. I mean, I've been guilty of eating too much ice cream and too many M&Ms and too many of those things that we all love the taste of. I've been guilty of that. But we live in an era where food is calorie dense. It's very dense. I said in one of our previous episodes, you can get 1,000, 1,200 calories right between your fingers, and put it in your mouth. That's very common these days. Also, the volume of servings has gone up. Think about it. If you went into a restaurant and you ordered a meal and they brought out one serving of everything, 4 ounces of fish or chicken or beef and a cup of vegetables and a half a cup of rice, and put that on your plate, and then charged you $15 or $19 for it, you'd say, excuse me, I'm not coming back. I expect my plate to be packed or full. Well, we've kind of gotten in a situation where we have easy access to food, high volume food, cheap food. Food is cheap. It's relative. Go to Walmart, go to any place, your Kroger's, whatever it is where you shop, and you're going to find that food is relatively cheap. Hey, you can feed a family with macaroni and cheese for $1 or $2. However, not real healthy to feed the family with a large volume of that. What's happened in our country is we've been what I call obesitized. I remember when I was taking driver's education back many, many years ago, they had a term called velocitized. It meant if you're on the highway driving 65 or 70, of course then the speedway was the speed limit was 75 miles an hour. Yeah, we call it a speedway. And then you suddenly get off onto a side street where it's 30 miles an hour, you feel like you're not moving at all. That was called velocitized. Well, it's happening to us in our eating habits. You know, the portions are big, we think that that's normal, we expect to eat more food, and I call it being obesitized. So when we do see a single serving, we think, that's not enough food. I mean, I have people and patients every day who tell me, Doc, I just don't eat much food and I'm gaining weight like crazy. They've been obesitized. You've been obesitized. I've been obesitized. So what we have to do is change again our thinking and our paradigm, okay? The other thing is we live in a sedentary lifestyle. I mean, most people have computers. Most people work at a desk with computers. We drive cars, we ride buses, we're on trains, we're on airplanes. We don't propel ourselves very much. Very few people ride a bike to work anymore. I mean, occasionally I'll see one, but not very often. We don't walk anywhere anymore. We sit on couches, we watch television for hours on end. There's no calorie expenditure in our lifestyle. I mean, everything has a remote control. Even the camera that I'm talking to you on here today have a remote control. I don't have to get up to do anything. I can just turn it on from here. When I was a kid, you know, we had like 4 channels, ABC, CBS, NBC, and a local affiliate, and I was the remote control. My dad or mom would say, hey, get up and turn the channel. And I would get up and walk over the TV and turn the channel for everybody. So at least then I was moving. I was the remote control for the family. The other thing that happens is our genetics play an important role in this. And I know a lot of people over time have said, oh, it's not your genetics, it's just your behavior. Not true. Our genetics play a big role. 2 types of genetics, our ancestral genetics and also our family genetics. So ancestral, let's talk about that for a minute. Thousands and thousands of years ago, our human ancestors here on this planet had to hunt for food. They had to go out miles and miles and miles and take a spear or a bow and arrow, whatever they used at the time, a rock, and they had to chase down and hunt their food. That took a lot of energy to get their food. Here we just pull into the drive-up. We don't even get out of the car, we can get it. There's no hunting anymore for food. So they expended a lot of energy. Even if they were digging for roots or picking berries or fruit, they had to climb trees, they had to dig in the ground, they had to do those things. Nowadays it's all done by machinery, equipment. Even our farmers today don't do, they're hard workers, but they're not out in the fields picking things. They have machines to do that. So genetics, ancestral genetics play a big role. Now what happened was, because our ancestors may only eat every few days, they'd have to chase down game and then kill it, they would gorge themselves and they would create fat in their body that would last them till their next meal. So our bodies developed over time and were created in such a way to produce a lot of fat. And that was important for survival. Nowadays though, you eat 3-4 times a day, maybe you eat 5 or 6 times a day, maybe you graze all day. You don't really have to store a lot of energy because you can get it at the next meal or the next snack. So our bodies, however, have this innate ability and an incredible ability to store extra calories as fat. So if we get extra calories, we don't burn them up, we create fat very, very efficiently. So our ancestral genes have passed on to us, but the way we collect food is much different nowadays. The other thing is our family genetics, a very distinct lineage of families, which is certainly our ancestral, but in very specific lines, we see obesity as a common problem. It can be racial, it can be ethnic, it can be regional, and it can be in individual families that we see weight problems and obesity follows generation after generation. And those genes are there probably for some protective reason in the past, but nowadays those genes, the trigger's pulled when we eat too much or don't exercise, and then suddenly we have diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and massive obesity, which causes a shortening of our lifespan. So with all those factors going on where the genes are driving the biochemistry and the biochemistry drives us to eat too many fats or too many carbohydrates or just too much volume at one setting, we can't do this by willpower alone. Certainly discipline and willpower are important, but you can't do that alone. And I know you've tried to do that. You said, I'm just going to buckle down, I'm going to pull myself up by my bootstraps, and I'm going to lose weight. And you'll do it for 1, 2, 3, maybe up to 6 weeks. And then it all falls apart because all these other factors come in. So I look at obesity a little bit differently. I look at it from what I call a disease model. Think about this. If you go to your doctor and they say, you have high blood pressure, we need to treat you for high blood pressure. Well, they don't get your blood pressure down and then suddenly say, your blood pressure's normal, stop all your medicines, you can eat all the salt you want, don't take care of yourself, it's cured. No, because if you do that, it goes right back up. So it's a lifetime treatment of hypertension typically. Now, some people can change their lifestyle and get off their blood pressure medicine, but most of the time, if they pull the triggers, if they don't eat properly, they get too much salt, and the family genes are there, their high blood pressure goes up. It's also true with diabetes. It's true with high cholesterol. It's true for a lot of diseases. So what happens is we treat the disease, the problem goes down. If we stop treating it, the problem goes back up. Think about obesity. Every single dietary program, including bariatric surgery, if you look at the statistics, the weight comes down when they're on the program or when the process has occurred, it plateaus out, and it goes back up if left untreated. So in my clinic, in my practice, we treat obesity as a lifetime disease if you have it. If you've weighed over a BMI of 30, you have obesity, and it's a lifetime disease. Just because we get you down to your lean body weight doesn't mean we can wave goodbye and tell you to have a great life. We still need to track you. You still need to pay attention. So that's the way I treat this. Now, how do we treat the disease model? With treatment. Treatment could include special dietary plans or special eating plans. Treatment can include appetite suppression, trying to shut off the switch. It can include craving blockade, trying to block the cravings for certain foods like fats or carbohydrates specifically. It may include things like satiety enhancement. That means that we want to make you feel full faster, either through fiber or some other type of natural ingredient that makes you feel full faster so you don't want to just keep eating. Other things which are behavior modifications, such as just eating slower and chewing your food more. Those are kind of things I call satiety enhancement. Coaching, extremely important in everything we do. Okay, but I think a lot of people need all of these types of treatment modalities, treatment plans that they need to go through. Okay, so we'll go into those over time. We'll spend specific time on each of those in future episodes of Fat Doctor TV, so we can give you more and more information. And I think this is important. I get people all the time that say, "Gosh, Doc, you know so much about medicine. How'd you do that?" I said, "I learned it. I went to school. I spent after college, I spent an extra 6-7 years just studying medicine and family medicine, and you get good at what you do." My auto mechanic, he's incredible. He studies it, he learns it, he reads about it, he puts his hands in it every single day. You know, if you want to get lean, if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, study it, learn it, understand it, listen to our program, go out and research elsewhere. We'll bring in extra speakers. We're going to look at all kinds of diet programs, all kinds of ways to get you lean. But study it, become a student of it, learn it, know it, understand it, not just so it's up here, but so you can put it into action. That's an extremely important thing. So you're going to learn about dietary change. You're going to learn about motion change, how to move better, how to use your body and muscles better. You're going to learn about behavior adjustment, things that you need to do to change your behavior. We're going to talk about medical treatments, specific treatments, alternative, natural, and prescriptive treatments, even surgical treatments that may help people who are obese. And coaching. How do you find a partner, someone who can coach you, someone who can help you? I mean, the greatest athletes in the world in the Olympics, they all have coaches. It doesn't matter if they're the best in the world. They still have coaches. You know, we know that. And so we need a coach too. So those are the things that I think we have to focus on. You also have to have that very, very strong desire that you want a new life. That the thing we've called thinner vision. You've got to have that vision of you at a thinner weight, at a healthier weight, and that's most important of all. Then we'll put all this together and see if we can help you get there, okay? I'm excited to be with you. I'm excited for myself. I'm excited for you. And my goal here is just to give you more and more information. So stay tuned for further episodes. We've got a lot coming down the road, and we're real excited about what we can do to work together. Send us your comments. Send us your emails. Tell us if we're on track, if we're off track, if you like what we're doing, if you don't like what we're doing. We're interested in what's going on out there in your world. So this is, again, Dr. Greg Oliver for Fat Doctor TV. I am the Fat Doctor, and I will see less of you next time. So have a great day. Talk to you soon.